And good Monday morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. It is already December the 12th. Nearly halfway through the month. The countdown to Christmas is on, isn't it? Coming real soon. 60 right now as we wait for a high a little bit later today to reach 65. Not going to get much, and we'll talk about the change in the forecast as things will get cooler. I want to remind each and every one of you to be prepared for some severe weather that is on the way. We'll get into the details and look at the map in a moment. Tuesday night, the west part of the state, and by 6:30, about right now till 7, it will start getting bad on Wednesday morning with a level 2 for the Meridian area. And when I say the Meridian area, that's Philadelphia, that's Newton, all of this east side and into the west central side of Alabama. So we'll have all that for you lined up here in just a moment. All right, let's take a minute and let's head out to Collinsville. A new word there. Brother Ben's got a great message for us now. I'll stay and listen to this, and you'll enjoy this morning.
Is there ever a wrong time to do a good thing? Those who opposed Jesus thought so. On one Sabbath day, Jesus and his disciples were exceedingly hungry as they walked through the ripened wheat fields. So food was all around them, but it was the Sabbath, and they weren't supposed to do anything resembling work. So what were they? That made the religious leaders very angry, but Jesus reminded them that God loves mercy more than sacrifice. In other words, God loves needy people being helped more than observing some ritual. Soon thereafter, that same Sabbath, Jesus encountered a man with a withered and useless hand. Having mercy on him, Jesus healed him. The Sabbath police were enraged again, but again, Jesus reminded them that it's always lawful to do good, even on the Sabbath. Beloved, make no mistake about it. It's always the right time to do good. God always loves when you show mercy and kindness to somebody. So get out there today and do some good. You can't go wrong. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Now, I urge you, if you don't have your own church, visit with them. Drop by and see them there in Collinsville. A lot going on there. Great message from him. Real likable fella. I think you'd enjoy yourself. They're going to do it again, Wednesday evening, and then they'll do it again on Sunday. Drop by and see what Collinsville has to offer for you. Good folks there. Well, an active weekend. Let's get into what we know at this point. We'll, again, have your forecast coming up here in just a little bit, so don't rush off. We get all that. We want you to know exactly what's going to be going on with the weather. Charlotte Gray wanted to say thank you for such a complimentary note there. Appreciate that so much. Linda Accord, good morning. Lamar is up, taking care of Kemper County. I see Mike Dallas. How are you? One of the big things that we see this morning, and this will be the topic, we're hearing awful news out of Starkville, Mississippi, as the headline reads that the Mississippi State head football coach is in critical condition, what we understand. He was rushed to Jackson, Mississippi. Now, the college is not releasing any information, just the fact that he's been taken to Jackson. There needs to be prayer. I keep hearing over and over that it is a very, very serious situation. As we will update this story to tell you what's going on. There's a lot of speculation. One of the biggest that I'm hearing in the speculation world is that it may have been a stroke that hit the head coach. Leach. So we keep him, his family, and all those Mississippi State fans in our prayers this morning as we learn more about this. And as soon as we do, we'll let you know. Good morning, James Garrison. Glad to see you there. Troy Robinson is up. We look to the Meridian Police Department. Let's pull up this picture. This is wanted. This is most likely in connection. They didn't verify what it was, but I think we can all draw the dots here. Wanted. If you know this person, contact the Meridian Police Department. You can do that at 485-1893 or Crime Stoppers, either one of those numbers there, if you happen to know who this is. Is that picture great? No, it's not. It's all we've got, though. Meridian had its 15th murder as we pull this up this weekend. This is just sad as we look at this, as we pull this up. MPD investigating this. A 22-year-old male has been killed as we look at the scene of the crime with police there. Not a good place for a shooting, was it? It was not. A young man has lost his life and becomes the 15th. Now, to my knowledge, of the ones, and I'll double check with the police department this morning. We've had 2 murders in the last week or so, very close together. I think we had December 1st. I've got my list saved. And then this one on Saturday. And I know that we've had several shootings where people were rushed out of the area by helicopter to other places. To my knowledge, none of those have passed away. So that puts us at 15 for the year, matching 2021. There were 15 murders last year, and it looks to be 15 this year. We still got quite a few days to go, don't we? About 18 days left of the year. Let's hope we don't surpass last year. Will be all this. I'm going to talk with the Meridian Police Department today as we find out more about this. After this gentleman was killed on Saturday, we would learn that, well, another one was shot. As we look at that, a man was shot in the back. It wasn't as serious as the first one, but trust me, being shot in the back is no better than painful. Alive, though. That is what we got out of that. That would occur on the 2200 block of 34th Avenue in Meridian. Very active weekend. As the parade began, crime on the other parts of the city broke out. As you can say what you want, that's what happened. And I had someone ask me about, and let me show this, of where the parade was and were in relation to it, because I did make the comment, and I went back and I made a statement on there. I didn't want anybody to think that I was trying to say something happened at the parade. It did not. It was north of the parade. Let me show you the map. This is exactly where I was sitting here at the lineup. Here's Walgreens here, and this is going to be fire station number 1. This is sort of the back of it, and it went down the 25th. Due northwest of here, Point Rexall, right back in here, is where that shooting would take place there, 29th Avenue and 20th Street. Not a long ways. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks due north of there is where that happened. But I do not want anybody to say that that I got this confused and said it happened at the parade. It did not. It's just an update of where it was. As we go through some more things, another person was shot in Meridian. As we look at this, 44th Avenue and 20th Street over the weekend. We pull this up. Not life-threatening. No word on the condition of how they are at this point. As we learn more on this, we'll pass that along. Hopefully we'll get an update on that one also. We had shots fired on 38th Avenue over the weekend. We pulled that up to take a look at that. A black Dodge Charger was involved in this. Point blank, meaning it was a drive-by shooting is what we have on that. I have no injuries or damage to any homes mixed in with this. As we get more information, we'll pass along. Sometimes we do. As we go to the county now, if you'll remember, this was a little less than a week ago. I think it happened on Tuesday morning. We had a shooting. It was last Tuesday. So we're 6 days ago, there was a shooting in the county on Jeff Davis Road. As we pull this up for you to take a look at that, that was the thing. The person was life-flighted to Jackson. They have succumbed to their injuries and passed away, making this a murder for the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department. As I spoke with Ward over the weekend, they are investigating this full force, trying to solve this crime of what went on there. As we will eventually get some more updates on this, we'll pass that along also. It's everywhere, folks. But he passed away. We pass along condolences to his family. Heartfelt on top of that. We had several accidents over the weekend also. I hope you weren't involved in any, and I'll remind you of that because this morning it is wet outside. The streets are slick. We don't want you having accidents. As I walked over to the studio this morning, it was quite wet. There are a lot of wrecks that will happen due to that fact. So be careful. We have someone missing here, and this is sad. A lot of you have shared this. If you have not gone to our page and shared this yet, please do. We have a 13-year-old missing in Meridian. She's 13 years old, weighs 117 pounds, and is 5 foot 2 inches tall. She was last seen at Magnolia Middle School on Friday, November the 18th. I spoke with the police department over the weekend. They verified that this young lady is missing. We certainly hope that she is found safe as we look for more clues into this. And again, if you happen to see her, please pass that along. Let someone know. Scott Gregory, good morning from Nanawaya. Hope all is doing good there. House community is up. Anitra, how are you doing? As we look around, we did have Saturday morning as they were cleaning the streets for the parade, getting ready, we had a sweeper catch fire. Really, I'm not kidding. As we pull this up to take a look, the street sweeper caught fire and smoked. Look at that. Now, as the outside of the fire department showed up just in the nick of time, but the entire inside of that truck is gone. Then it sprung a leak in one of the saddle tanks, and diesel fuel went everywhere. A lot of effort went in behind that of getting all that cleaned up. As you'll see right there, they were all over that's diesel fuel, all down the edge of the street there where it ran. They threw in sand and blocked it and soaked it all up. That was a way to start Saturday morning, wasn't it? Well, there's a lot went on with that. Let's see what else we have going on. We did have an accident Friday afternoon. A car flipped. Did y'all hear about that? It was late in the afternoon. I had gone to Philadelphia, and as we came back, this would be on Poplar Springs Drive. As you'll look at that, upside down it went. Cars are easier to flip than you realize. Lose control of one and see what happens. We don't want that happening to you, so be careful. The Meridian float. We're going to talk about the parade when Candace comes in this morning. I hope you had a chance to do that. Collinsville had theirs. Meridian had their big parade. We'll get into all of that this morning as you come in. Fireworks show out in Collinsville. Were we all out for that? It was big. It was beautiful. We've got video of that also. We'd love for you to watch. It's on our Facebook page for you to look. As I mentioned, I was in Philadelphia late Friday afternoon. I think it all got underway right around 1 o'clock. And if you're needing a Toyota, you've got a choice now. For so many years, it was, well, you didn't have one. Now you do. Doc's Toyota, as we pull this up, the grand opening happened at 1 o'clock Friday. We were glad to be there and be a part of it. As you look at all the different pictures, there's the mayor. They showed up. Everybody got a picture. As we come across, where's the sword here? Here we go. Yeah, they got to do the ribbon cutting with the sword that was given to them by the head of Toyota. Sent that. That's pretty neat. So that happened this past Friday. Again, Philadelphia, that's good to have there. Intersection of Highway 15 and 16. Miss Mississippi is getting ready. Can y'all believe it's already time for another Miss America pageant? It is. And Miss Mississippi has been named Social Impact Finalist as she heads off there. That's good news. We wish her luck. As she heads out, maybe she'll win for us, bring back a crown there. This is being more and more and more in the news. Statewide is where we are as we head back to Jackson, Mississippi. Whatever can happen in Jackson can happen anywhere in the state of Mississippi. Carjackings. I don't know how many we've brought up over the last 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month, but it's a lot. We have a lady that was shot in this last attempted carjacking. She's going to be all right. She's going to make a full recovery, but she was shot. The closer we get into these holidays, the meaner they seem to get. Keep a careful eye, no matter where you are, of those that are watching you. Watch them before they watch you. Does that make sense? Jackson, Mississippi. Hopefully they'll catch them. They haven't yet. Capitol Police investigating on-duty shooting. Capitol Police, they chased someone. MBI is involved in this. Apparently they had a gun. Police returned fire. That's being investigated in the streets of Jackson. Sykes Road, 2 more people in Jackson, Mississippi shot. Yeah, the list just goes on and on. We've got problems here. Jackson has got quadrupled that. I don't know what to tell you about Jackson. Be careful if you're ever there. That happened on Friday, 2 more shootings there. As we go over to Vicksburg, always, I don't want to say the word, there's always something going on. Domestic problems are a problem we've got statewide as we look at this. Family members got into a fight and, well, a woman's accused of stabbing a family member in the mouth. What gets out of hand to where you think it's okay to do that? Really, what makes you lose control? But that's Vicksburg is where that went on. Now we head due north of Meridian. How many folks do we have this morning watching in the northern portion, due north of here, Macon, Mississippi, as we go into that Noxubee County area, as a body has been found? A tip came in to the Sheriff's Department of Noxubee County. They have found a man in his 20s. That's really all they know because the body is decomposed in an abandoned house. They've shipped the body for autopsy. They hope to find out more about this. Basically down a dead-end road, old house places where they found it. Scary, isn't it? We don't know how long he's been there. We'll find out more about that autopsy on top of that. Columbus. Been to Columbus many, many, many times. You probably have as well. Beautiful city. Well, they pull somebody over from Macon. Traffic violation. Cops are standing there, and, well, she decides she doesn't want to stay any longer. What does she do? She takes off. She's run over 2 officers' feet now with the Columbus PD. See, that really breaks the law when you do that. 2 counts of assault, 2 counts of child endangerment, 1 count of felony fleeing. She had a child in the back, so the charges just kept piling up. They started chasing, and they backed off. Figured where she was going, and they drove there later and arrested her. Never a good idea to drive off when the police have you pulled over. It becomes a felony when you run over the police's feet. Gulfport. That's on the south end of our state of Mississippi. As we go there to look, a body was found November the 27th. We sat around and we talked about this that morning. A body was found on the side of the interstate. They didn't give many details at that time. The first part we got was that she'd been hit. As the investigation went on, we would also find that she'd been shot. Her car was stolen. That she was hit. They've made an arrest in that finally. That's sad, isn't it? It's just really sad. I'll leave it at that as we look at that. That's on the Gulf Coast of what we've got. We see that a Gulfport teen gets 30 years in jail for repeated gun violence. Now, when I read you these sentences, that doesn't mean they will stay there. Y'all know that as well as I do. Just because you get 30 years, it sounds like, well, they're put away. We know that in a year or so that they'll be up for parole, and a lot of times they get out quickly. What else is going on across the state this morning? Pike County. Boy, we had 2 individuals that was arrested in Pike County for injuring someone in a shootout. They've passed away. Now charges have upgraded. Murder it is. We also see this one got a little bit more stiffer sentence in Pike County. And this is elders. Sometimes you're not shocked when you see that somebody in their 20s or 30s have made an advance toward a child. But when they're 71 or older, and that just bothers you to no end. They make arrests all the time across that. We had someone, Mayhew, North Mississippi, get killed in a car accident over the weekend. We pass along condolences to their family. 21-year-old Canaris Taylor was traveling north on Highway 45 on the Alton. You know where the split is as you're going to Mississippi State? Lost control and died. Hit a bridge. We, again, pass along condolences to that family member. As we look at Oktibbeha County, as we move up there, I just brought up one in Pike County about sexual charges, and we have another one. This one, a 71-year-old, arrested for child molestation. No way to break that to you gently. Memphis, Tennessee. We often have in that northern portion of the state, Tunica along there where it joins the Memphis area. We often have Mississippians that cross that line. Memphis police was called to an area of suspicious vehicle. They arrived and the 2 cars were shooting at each other. One man died from that. He was from Mississippi. And as we get deeper into this on a national level, this is, we find out more now. Do y'all remember when we talked about last week the little girl that was kidnapped and killed by the FedEx driver? Do y'all remember that? He's admitted to what he's done. Now we find out why in his warped mind that he did it. The FedEx driver hit the little girl. She was injured, and he strangled her to death. Strangled her. Had an ambulance been called, she might be okay. But he killed her. You know, what goes through someone's mind is the fear of losing your job? Now you have no life. Most likely will face the death penalty. 30 years old. That poor little girl, 7 years old. She was a sweetheart, too. I don't know if you've seen the pictures of her. That's disturbing, isn't it? It truly is. That's some of the headlines that we're seeing across America this morning. We'll be right back. We're going to check your forecast, let you know all about this bad weather that is out there coming Wednesday. Write it down on your calendar. Wednesday. We'll talk about that next. The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built-in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group.
Sanders Gas, Sanders Air and Heat is your full-service propane supplier since 1946. We take pride in ensuring reliable, friendly service to our customers. We also provide safety tune-ups related to propane, air conditioning, and heating systems, keeping our community efficient and safe. I'm Chuck Sanders, and yes, we're local.
Y'all haven't been thinking about Chuck, but he's going to be popular before long. Why? It's turning cold. Gas, LP. You'll need to get Chuck's number, Sanders Gas, and get you some delivered because colder weather is right on the horizon of us. All right, now let's get into severe weather and what the National Weather Service is telling us. Let's go back here and look at Tuesday night. This is how this is going to come out. Let me pull up the map here. Here we go. As we pull up Meridian Honda radar, this is what is going to be occurring Tuesday night. Now, I don't want anybody to misunderstand anything with this. This peach shaded area is the most likely for tornadic activity. This is a greater risk of tornadoes. Let's pull this over where you can see this better. Jackson on Tuesday night is at a level 2. As we get to Natchez, this area down here, let's go south of Vicksburg. Look at that. Fayetteville, Bertie, Woodville, Mississippi. These areas here just due west of Macomb are under a level 3, which is most likely going to see tornadoes. Now, 2, this area right here, very well could see tornadoes. This is Tuesday night in the overnight hours. All the way back here to Lufkin, Texas, up through Shreveport, Ruston, and Monroe. Y'all keep it Delhi, Louisiana involved in that. Now, let's go to Wednesday, what the National Weather Service is telling us. We'll get into the times here in just a moment of what they're saying here. Let's look at what we've got for Wednesday morning. This begins at 7 o'clock. The Meridian area is under a level 2, which means also that we can be affected by tornadic activity. Now, the worst of the worst calms down, but we cannot rule that out in this area. Torrential rains are going to be coming. This will be starting at around daylight, right there around 7 o'clock on Monday. We'll be here to follow you through. We'll be here during these nighttime hours also, should that storm speed up. A lot of times they do. And again, this is going to cut across due east from Jackson through Newton. Everything south of Meridian will be under a level 2, including Mobile, Crestview, all the way down to Home, Louisiana. Now, north of us, as we get past the Ralph Morgan Rodeo into Kemper County, Philadelphia, and these areas here is a level 1. So the threat is not as bad north of Meridian as it will be Meridian and southward and west and east. Does that make sense? We're going to look at all of that. Let's pull this up and see what the National Weather Service, these timelines as we talked about here. Here's what we've got from the National Weather Service as they tell us what to expect. This will travel from 7 a.m. until noon Wednesday. We're just barely missing out on that overnight. As you'll look at this from Yazoo, from Vicksburg to Jackson, right there, right outside of Brandon, from 1 a.m. to 8 a.m. is the time, the overnight hours there. So it could happen anytime. And keep in mind that sometimes storms speed up. So we could be looking a little bit before daylight. But as you get up on Wednesday is when our threat, and again, this is that level 3 here for Wednesday, down in the Natchez area back in there, and we come across the Meridian area, upgraded now to a level 2. Everything south of Meridian is a level 2 for Wednesday. I want everybody to be aware of what's coming. We're going to watch this and talk about all the flooding that could possibly happen with this. Let's get deeper into the forecast now.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
We go back for those record highs and record lows back in 49, 80 degrees on this date. 1962, you couldn't back up to a heater quick enough. Today's low was 8 degrees back in 1962. Whew, what a cold day it was. This is what we're expecting today. Cloudy, not too bad. 65 as we go northward. We'll see about 63 there at Mississippi State. As we go south, warmer at Hattiesburg, almost 70, 69 is what we're looking. As we go east into Alabama and we look at this, and of course it's going to be periods of some drizzle this morning as well. 65 at Tuscaloosa, Demopolis 66, and we'll see 65 there in Livingston, Alabama as well. Now, dense fog this morning is possible as you're getting up, so leave a little bit earlier. It's not as bad as it could be. We'll go back to live radar here in just a moment and take a look. But this is through 9 a.m. this morning. Could be some areas there in those low-lying areas that do have it. This is the potential for flooding that we've got that Wednesday. And in the period of a couple hours, in an hour, we could see as much as 2 inches. What does that mean? Well, that's bad. You mix in a little rain. We've already got rain from these last events. Makes trees a little bit, when that wind comes along, fall, knocks out our power. We certainly don't want that. And we don't want you driving through any flooded areas. As we look to what's happening in Alabama, as they look at that, not as bad there as we look at this, a little bit here of a 2. But for the most part, Demopolis, these areas here, we'll see a level 1. This will be more of a Mississippi and Louisiana event than anything as we look at this. Again, it's coming. All right, as we look, the National Weather Service put this out, and this is similar to my map. I'll just pop it up real quick here. This is from the National Weather Service of what they're looking at. This is going to be on Tuesday night. They'll have more maps. And again, with all of this, keep in mind, we're still, 3 days out. It can change either way, east or west. We'll be here to walk you through it. Temperatures, as I mentioned, turning cooler. Look at this. Already starting to see that colder weather back here. Some areas of the United States is going to be, with this storm that gets here Wednesday, it's going to get a lot of snow due north of us. As we look at this, look toward the weekend here. Y'all watching this? Now, we've got 65, 69, 70 on Wednesday, and then that change comes on Thursday, what we've been talking about. Temperatures will only be 59 for a high, 35 that night, Friday, 50, and by the weekend, we're into the 40s. Highs are only in the 40s. Wintertime is right here as we look at this. Now, let's move ahead to this. As you'll see here, there's some days we've got coming ahead that's not going to get above the 40s, 44 mark. Burr. Christmas Day is set to be 46. That will definitely feel like winter, won't it? Christmas Eve, a cool 44 for a high. We'll have some showers on the 22nd there. And the shortest day of the year, right back here on the 21st, we're looking at a high of only 50. That's right around the corner, isn't it? So we've got some winter weather ahead of us. Cool stuff. So what's happening with the fishing report today? We'll go to Chet's Paint and Body to find out when the best time is to fish. About 11 o'clock today till 1 o'clock. If you can slip away and go out at lunch, a great time to do that. Wind's going to be calm and becoming northeast around 5 miles an hour. It's an average day to go fishing. Hope you can make it out. Maybe you got deer hunting on your mind. Let's go out to Collinsville Meats and let's check that out. Best time to hunt today is also going to be around that 10 o'clock, and then we got a second time right there at dark. Be there by 4 o'clock. It looks like it will get good from about 4:30 until dark 30. 4:30 to dark is the perfect time this afternoon to be in the woods. An afternoon hunt's perfect, so I hope you can make it out for that. That's a quick look at weather that we've got this morning. We're going to be back in 1 hour from now as Candace will join us as we'll go live here and also on Fox 30. Join us. We'll fill you in on all the details of what's going on in our community and across the state and across the nation. I look forward to seeing you, and I can't say thank you enough for joining me each and every day. Thanks a lot. We'll see you soon from the Scotty Ray Report.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: